Your business needs help. 56.1 million employees are employed by small businesses in the United States, and 99% of all U.S. establishments are small businesses under 250 employees. That means that your business should be listening to the only podcast dedicated to small business success. That's Growth Success Radio, growthsuccessradio.com. Welcome to this week's episode of Growth Success Radio. I'm going to start recording. So Eugene, we'll have some problems here. So this is Growth Success Radio, Blabcast, number 11. Sorry, number 11. There will be a missing number on the site. So if anybody wants to know why, we're going to have a little trivia when we get to like number 50 or something and have somebody find the missing number. But it'll be number 10 that's missing. This show is sponsored by Traeger Insurance and Scott Gombar Digital Marketing Agency. We're live every Friday, almost every Friday at 10 a.m. We will not be live on Black Friday for obvious reasons.
And you can't do a live cast from like Best Buy? That'd be awesome.
Oh, I don't do Black Friday. So if you want to do that, I suggest Periscope. Don't go to REI either. They won't be open. To listen and watch past shows, just go to growthsuccessradio.com. In fact, you can actually watch this show live right now from growthsuccessradio.com. I'm going to show you guys what that looks like real quick. There's going to be an echo for a moment. All right, I'm going to switch it over.
I want to know where Eugene is driving through so we know what the scenery is.
Sure. Take a look.
It's probably Meriden.
No, it's Bristol. So I don't know if the scenery is good in Bristol, but
it's a good leaf time, you know. It's good season.
It is.
So you can see this is live on the Growth Success Radio site now.
Awesome.
Yeah. Right. So let me get rid of that echo. Let me transition back. Manicam. All right, Jonathan, go get it. So we are live on the website now. Eugene.
Yes.
Co-owner of Traeger Insurance, you got any updates for us? Don't drive and blab at the same time.
Yes, that's always a good update. I mean, we're getting into the planning season for a lot of businesses and even individuals, so it's a good time to sit down and start planning besides your finances, your insurances for the next year or so. As far as updates in the insurance world, as you know, I've been out of the field for like a month, so I'm still trying to catch up to previous work, and I haven't had a chance to look at if there's been any major updates.
Okay. We got a few social media updates. So Twitter yesterday launched the ability to do polls now. So you could do a 2-answer poll on Twitter. I did one last night, Blab versus Periscope. Right now Periscope is up 3-0. I saw somebody else did one, Kansas City or the Mets. I'm still picking the Mets in 7. So I don't know. That's kind of brave, I know, but we'll see what happens. Google is going to host podcasts starting next year, Jonathan, on Google Play. So that'll be awesome. I already submitted this one to Google Play, so it's already there and ready to go. As soon as they launch, it'll be live on Google Play. And finally, Facebook is going to allow you to block all game requests. So I know you guys are excited about that. I don't. They did not put a timeline on that, but it is coming. So Mark Zuckerberg says that's the #1 request every time he does a town hall. Shocker there, right?
I thought it'd be the dislike button.
They backed off of that for some reason. They backed off of the dislike button. I wonder if they got some backlash on that.
You know that opens up to like lawsuits.
Well, the problem I have with the dislike button is I can see where like if I don't like Traeger Insurance, I bury your post by disliking them.
Right, and that it's the same thing as that People startup that was going, that people are saying, oh, there's going to be much more negative comments going on there than there are going to be positive ones.
Right.
It ends up being a whole circle of just.
Yeah. And I can see where that might open up to a lawsuit. So now you'll need insurance for that too, Eugene.
His business is just climbing. Yeah.
So yeah, right. This week we have Jonathan Krackehl. I think I spelled your name wrong, or maybe I didn't. I don't know.
You got it right.
I did get it right. Okay. He's the owner of It's Relevant. So Jonathan, tell us what It's Relevant is.
Well, we create custom television networks for businesses. So if you think about a business you've been to, whether it be any kind of business, if it's a restaurant, if it's a medical office, if it's a dental office, anywhere where you sit and wait for more than 5 minutes and you have a TV in front of you, we replace the programming on that TV with something that's customized and updated for and serves the business and the people sitting in front of it. So we serve quite a lot of industries at this point, and we combine video content, stuff that's like traditional television, with digital signage, messaging, and also social media, all on the TV, and all really effortless.
Right. I just got into a car accident.
Oh no!
Oh, are you all right?
Yeah, just pull over. Hold on, we're creating a safe accident scene, which is the #1 rule. Okay. We just got rear-ended by a Ramor Flanagan truck.
Oh, wow. That's not that surprising to me, actually. Honestly.
Reznitsky Flanagan soon. Colleen says no insurance jokes. Are we not able to do insurance jokes right now?
You can do insurance jokes.
All right, good. Everybody's okay?
Yeah, everybody's okay.
All right.
Somebody's going to have to get fired from Ramor Flanagan, but that's okay.
You mean Reznitsky Flanagan?
Yes.
Yes.
I'll give you a piece too, Scott.
All right, awesome. Well, we're witnesses, so.
Yeah, this is weird. Like his video right now, I'm seeing is all blurry in the center, but I'm seeing outside video.
Yeah, I don't think he's got a very good signal. Well, it says poor internet signal.
Yeah, it's interesting. I can see crispy on the windows, though. It's like the Vaseline filter.
Nobody wants to look at me, so.
Yeah, Colleen says, gotta love being live. So I'll tell the Colleen story real quick because we didn't record that one, but this one's recorded. We were talking to Colleen a few weeks ago. So come on. She was in the car like Eugene was, but she pulled over to the side of the road. A couple of detectives came up to her car and asked if she was okay while we were on the air. But I wasn't recording. I forgot to press the record button. Eugene, I did record this one. We've got evidence. All right, so you said you do customized content for waiting rooms and restaurants and so forth. Anybody where somebody's going to sit for a little while, right?
Correct, yeah.
How do you get that content? How do you find that content?
Well, we license it. I mean, we find it in a number of different ways. My past was in both television and internet. And so going through anywhere where you'd think of looking at video from, we were just participants. We were industry participants in the New York Television Festival last week in New York, which is the largest independent television festival of its kind. There's a lot of stuff for like film festivals that you've heard of across the nation, and but this is really the only one that does a really great job of bringing people together that are creating the next generation of television programs. So we met a lot of people there, and then I just have a lot of contacts from my years in doing different TV work and consulting work, and we bring in people from all over the place. It's all in the U.S. right now, all of our partners, but we have a few that we're talking with in the UK and Australia. So awesome. we're looking to bring it in even more. But anything that's relevant, we're happy to license and deliver, and that's the core of what we do.
Nice plug. I like that. So you said UK and Australia. Interestingly enough, if you're on Blab enough, you'll talk to people from UK and Australia quite a bit.
Yeah.
So you know, maybe you got something going there. There is
Early
actually
tech adopters. Yeah.
yeah, there's actually a cooking show on Blab already. I have not caught it yet, but other people have told me about it.
That's cool.
Cooking.
Yes, there's a cooking show on Blab. So
Dial
I know
in
people
and
were
add an
doing
ingredient. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you have any content that you find is very popular right now? Or
Yeah,
what seems to be the most
well,
popular?
our cooking content is actually pretty popular. We have a number of partners that are, that are in the cooking industry. We have a lot of children's content actually coming on now too. A lot of places. The main problem with regular television in a business is the fact that you aren't giving the the customer the remote control. They're sitting and they're kind of stuck with whatever they got. So if it's
Right.
Judge Judy or if it's Dr. Phil or if it's a kids program, you're stuck sitting there watching it until an employee comes over and changes the channel. And so we find that a lot of places like to mix in quick children's program, a 2-3 minute piece, in case there's a kid in a waiting room or a kid, in the restaurant. But they don't want just a full channel of kids programming all the time. So we find that a lot of our stuff is popular amongst the businesses that we serve because it's done in that fashion. We have an algorithm that's written to separate it out so that you're not seeing the same thing twice. But you're also not seeing too many things in a row that are in the same category. So it just was refreshing, it's kind of refreshing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, we love that word algorithm.
Yeah.
John, so how do you guys find your partners for content?
Yeah, all over the place. I mean, we're finding some of them online. A lot of them are submitting to us now. We've had over 500, actually it's almost over 600 submissions online through our website, itsrelevant.com. People that own content are just coming there and sending us links to see what it is. And then we have conversations and go from there. So we are getting a lot of stuff submitted to us now. In the beginning, we went out and searched. And like I said, the contacts that I had in the industry, I went out, I talked to people, and I said, do you own something or does your company own something that's sitting on the shelf that's interesting that you would like to display to a public audience, get it out there on really interesting televisions and cool public locations. And the response has been overwhelmingly great. People have the content. There's a lot of places to put your video content on the internet now, but you really have to search out that content to watch it. And people aren't discovering it as much anymore. I was one of the first content partners on YouTube over 10 years ago. And I remember back then, my content was on the main page of YouTube. I could call up someone at YouTube and say, hey, this is an interesting thing. And they would walk down to the community department and let them know that I had a cool video on something. And then it would end up on the main page for a few hours. And that was cool. Now you don't get discovered that way on YouTube. It's too broad. There's too many videos that people have to be searching exactly for what you do. And you have to, as Scott knows, and as you guys know, the SEO has to be really good even for someone to find you then when they're looking for you. So with this, we put it not, it's not even just on the internet now. If they have something on the internet, we're putting it in public places, on big screen TVs, where people can discover it. And it kind of brings back for me like what the internet was 10 years ago with video content, where there's very little of it, and people could discover it. We're now doing that in public places and giving people that spotlight. So it's exciting. It's really fun.
So yeah, that sounds, I have a YouTube channel. How come you didn't ask me if I could be? No, I'm just kidding.
Guys, I'll be right back. Let me just take care of this little accident situation.
Okay.
You got it.
No problem. Take your time.
Yeah.
No problem. So you've mentioned that your TVs are installed in typically waiting rooms and restaurants. So give us some of the names of the businesses where they're installed.
Well, we have a few car dealerships. We're in Subaru. We're in Hyundai. We have restaurants. We've got, large chain Jersey Mike's in Fairfield County, Connecticut. We've got quite a few just really nice high-end apartment buildings that people wouldn't know the names of offhand, but, kind of one-offs there. We have some medical franchises as well, urgent care centers. And we're in a 10,000-seat arena in Bridgeport, Connecticut. We power the TVs that go around the concession stands, the restaurants, and the box seats there throughout the arena, which is a neat new place for us. We just started there a few weeks ago, and it's been going really well. So it works in a lot of different zones. When we first started it, the thought was we could go in just a couple local restaurants and things, and we were producing local content at the time. That was that was the core of our business from 5 years ago, was producing all local content. So we're finding places that we could put the stuff where it would be well received. And as we started to grow that and getting some really great clients seeing us, we were in libraries and all sorts of places that you would go in public and might notice a television. And as that was growing, we were getting more and more requests for content that wasn't so local anymore. It was still relevant, but it wasn't like, oh, it has to be about my next door neighbor or what's going on in town or one of those things. So we started licensing at that point and bringing in these other pieces of content. And now it really works anywhere. We're getting calls from all across the country now to have it put out there. And actually today is a very exciting day for us. Today is the release of the Apple TV, as we've all heard in the news, that their big release, their first push. And this is the first time I'm actually talking about it, but we are one of the very first apps available on that new Apple TV release today. So we've been developing for the last several weeks, and you can now get its relevant TV for your business right on the Apple TV in the App Store. It's a free app, and then you contact us, and we set up a subscription for you. So it's pretty simple and straightforward there. But it's yet another thing that we can do, to really expand across the country. We felt like in a meaningful way and help people in all sorts of business types. So it's pretty great. It's pretty great.
That's awesome. I'm glad to hear you're on Apple TV. I haven't purchased an Apple TV in a couple of years, but maybe now I'll go get one.
Yeah, it hits stores today. It's a cool device. I can show the remote now since it's officially released. But they've got it's a fun new remote. Yeah, it's a cool. It's got a touch surface on the top
nice.
For pushing and clicking and stuff, and it's a much. It's definitely a nice step up from what they had before. And there's going to be a lot of great development for it. You just know that.
I saw some of the development for it, and I saw. I didn't see this the first time I saw the remote. So the remote, I don't even know where it is anymore. But the one I had was like 2 buttons. It was ugly.
Yeah.
So I just installed the app on the iPad to manage it.
That's true. The remote app. Yeah.
Yeah. The remote was like for everything that Apple does. This is what you give me for a remote.
Right. Yeah. This one finally, and it's metal and it's glass. It's metal on the back, and then they've got a nice glass surface, on the front. Yeah. So it's kind of reminiscent of an iPhone. But,
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they got to stick with that, I guess, right?
Yeah.
So what is the best tool you have for acquiring new clients?
Well, I mean, right now we've had actually a lot of word of mouth that's been going on. We have a sales team that goes out every day and is visiting businesses locally. But we've gotten a lot of word of mouth, just movement from business owners that just love it. Because what we're doing for them is we're creating something that they really take ownership over. We're creating a television network that's branded by them. It's like a white labeled service. And it's got content that they feel is meaningful to their clientele or their customers. So they choose all of these pieces. They put in their own social media. We have full screen social media screens that are automatically updated, so they don't have to do any work. So if they have someone like you or someone else that's creating great content or helping them with social media strategy, this is just an extension of that. It's just a no work kind of thing that whatever they're already doing on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram gets mirrored on their TV without any effort on their part. So a lot of business owners like that because a lot of business owners aren't really savvy with the social media stuff. They aren't savvy with technology. They know their business, they know their core. And so we've created a lot of easy ways to help them really kind of syndicate that kind of information out. Our system also allows them to put up little kind of ads for themselves, image ads that rotate. So that's another useful tool that we've found. And in promoting things that both they're doing, we find some of them now are really starting to use it also to promote their employees. It's a nice kind of employee of the week kind of thing. If you think back to years ago, and that was a common thing, a plaque on a wall or something, employee of the month. You can do that on the TV now. We give them a space that they can utilize for that. And I don't know. It's there's something about being on a television in a public place like that it feels a step above having a plaque on the wall with your name on it. So we're constantly looking at these things, talking with business owners, and finding the best ways for them to utilize both the technology and all the video licensing that we do to really better serve their business. So yeah, it's been great.
Now, do they have the ability, if they have a YouTube commercial or commercial somewhere on the internet, that they can add that to their content?
Absolutely, yeah. No, they can pull any of their own videos that they have, whether they be on YouTube or anywhere else. I mean, if they have, doesn't matter where they are. They can upload them to our server. We have a little control panel for them. And then we mix in their own videos within the videos that are programmed out from our, all of our licensed stuff. So we found that it's not, the other kind of, the extremes that we see with TVs are people that just turn on CNN or some, 24-hour news network, and that doesn't serve your business at all, and it gets really dry and repetitive. Right. Or the people that put too much of their own stuff on a screen that becomes just a slideshow that no one even looks at. Both of those things, get people tuning out pretty quickly. With us, we kind of, it's, if the spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down, we put a lot of sugar in terms of having really great programming that people will want to see. You see tons of celebrity. We have George Clooney, we have Donald Trump. We've got all sorts of programming that have the people that people are talking about and want to see, and then that draws the attention in, and then you're able to market to them while they're already there. So it's been very, very successful on those fronts. And we've always had that kind of mindset out, and how do we help a business get the eyeballs onto the TV in the first place and then message to them. We have one client that they have is a car dealership, and we first started talking about them, where are we going to put this? They had a number of TVs. And in some cases, some businesses we have, multiple televisions. Some businesses we put one TV is dedicated to this, and then they still have a TV that's got a 24-hour news network playing in the background. It depends where we are. And in this case, we were trying to plan which TV should it go on. And the gentleman who runs the marketing was telling me, we have those 3 TVs in the service bay. And I'm sitting there racking my brain. I'm like, I've driven through here like 3 times. I've been in there. We shot a video for them in their service bay. I don't remember ever seeing a single television, let alone 3. And I'm like, wait, you mean over there? He goes, yeah, there's 3 like 60-inch televisions in there. And I'm like, no, there's no way there are. And then we walked down there, and sure enough, there are 3 60-inch televisions in this place. I had never seen them, I swear. I'd never seen them. And they're just playing slideshows, and they're completely blind. Like anyone walking through is completely blind to them existing. Yeah. They just felt like they're being sold to. So it's interesting. It's interesting to see how it works,
It's content marketing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yep, done right, then it's not, nobody's going to pay attention to it. Yep. So speaking of marketing, what kind of marketing do you use for your company?
We've tried a whole bunch of different things with varying levels of success. We did Facebook ads in the beginning. We've done everything underneath the sun. I mean, we did cable ads in the very beginning. We did train station platform ads. We did, like the billboards you see at the train stations. Yep. We did Apple's iAd. We did Facebook advertising. We did Twitter advertising. We hired an advertising agency to do some stuff for us. And I got to tell you, like, it's part of the tough part for us is that our market is so narrow. It's not that we don't serve, it's not that we're not seen by the general public, and that it's relevant to a lot of people, the programming and where we are. Right. But in terms of clients, the only people that matter to us really in the client world are people that own a business and have a television and have people that wait at that business, for 5 or more minutes. We're not looking to put up a TV in an area where people are just kind of brushing through real quick. We want them to be able to, spend a couple of minutes watching the programming and make their time go by faster. So finding that select subgroup of, business owner that has a public location that has a television in it, and that it's a tough thing to do. Even with the internet marketing where you go there's no checkbox on Facebook for business has a television, So my friend's a wedding, he's not anymore, but my friends did wedding videography for years. And it was a godsend when Facebook allowed you to target to people that had just gotten engaged. I mean, talk about, a right market. I mean, that was amazing. That's exactly his market. He could select a subset of a geographic area and say, I just want people that just announced that they got engaged. They're looking for a photographer. It's like right for it. With us, it's like, how do we know if someone has a television, and how do we know if they're the decision maker, which is also weird. You think about a lot of decisions being made by a business, marketing decisions, certainly, that's usually something that they have a budget for and that they really, put a lot of thought into. But when you talk to a business about their television, it's a totally different world because they don't think of their TV as a marketing tool at all. I mean, they think of their TV as something that helps people pass the time. And so I find that when we first go into some of these businesses, they look at us like we're selling toilet paper. Like, well, that's all fine and good if you can give us a better toilet paper for less money, but it's toilet paper. My core business is, being a dentist or, selling cars or whatever it might be. So that's really where the challenge presents itself in the marketing, is being able to target that subset zone of the people that have the time, that feel like and having them realize that it's going to be worth it, and having a television. So.
Yeah, so you generally don't find yourself going into businesses that don't already have a television, maybe a new practice or a new restaurant, or...
There are businesses that reach out to us because they've seen it elsewhere, and they say, how do we do this? I don't have a TV yet. I think this is a great idea. And so we do work with them, but they'll buy the TV. We don't want to have to own that on that part either. Servicing televisions is certainly not a business I want to be in.
I actually used to do that.
Then you would know it's not.
Yeah.
So, and it makes sense for them to pick the one that they want anyway. How big do you want it to be?
Right.
What do you feel works best for your space? I'm not an interior designer. I can't tell you, what TV you should have on your wall. And we're happy to help people install stuff, when it comes to that, and help them with the technical end. But it's like you could buy your TV. Like, it's totally fine. I don't need to buy a TV for you. So yeah, and it's also it's less of a thing too if they already have a television. It's very easy for us to come in and create the channel for them and get them started. It's very similar to like cable coming in and attaching to a television that has no service. Our installs take 5 to 10 minutes, and then they get access to a control panel online that they can access from their cell phones, their tablets. They can use it anywhere and control it 24/7, which is another great point, for those businesses. They like having the control. And at the time of the day that they have time to think about their TV, it's usually 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning when they're home. And the ability to go on their phone and just, be able to make the changes, add an ad, change something up. They can do it while they're laying in bed and then have it change, instantaneously in their business location. So the next day when they go in, it's already done. So it's definitely an advantage.
That's awesome. Yeah, I can just see that now, up at 2 in the morning on your phone, Facebook, or change the content on my TV channel.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting too. A lot of people are clients that get really into it are just like, I can't believe this. It's like they have the full force of a TV network behind them. I mean, we're doing all the legwork to license content, and we've had clients that have said, hey, can you get more of this type of content or this type of content? And then we go out into our networks of people and then find that content and actually license it for them. So we do all the legwork to build something that they couldn't build on their own. It would be both technically prohibitive and also cost prohibitive if you had to pay for all the licensing and all these things individually.
Right.
It would be so expensive, it'd be ridiculous. So we make it all happen for them, but then they're harnessing, they're at the driver's seat, they have the control panel, they're picking what's on. If they get feedback from a customer that they didn't like something, they can turn it off. I mean, it's great, it's instantaneous, So they really feel that control, and it's funny to see, because even some of the people that were kind of like, well, I'm not sure if this is going to work or not. Let me try it out for a couple months. A couple days in, they're like all over it, like excited. Oh my God, I have my own television network now. Look, my brand is up on that TV, And it's awesome. It's awesome to see, to give them that power.
Yeah, I mean, definitely for sure. If I was in a matter of fact, Monday morning, I'm taking my wife in for surgery to the dentist, and I'll see if they have a TV.
Yeah, no, let me know. Seriously. I think a lot of them too, we find that medical offices and dental offices play a lot of stuff that has to do with their practice, not their individual practice necessarily, but like the practice of, medicine in general. And if you talk to people about it like we have, you find that most people don't really want to watch that when they're at the doctor. If you're there and you're unsure of something, the last thing you want to see is, do you have diabetes? Did you get the flu shot? Did you know that? And it's like you're bombarded with these messages that are just really scary in a lot of ways. And you're already nervous as a patient being in one of those situations. So we look at it as we can provide whatever programming you'd like, but we provide programming that takes people out of that mode for a few minutes. You can still market to them while they're watching something interesting with a celebrity or, with a cooking show or whatever it might be. You could let them know that you have flu shots available for $20. That's totally fine. But having a whole video about the flu and people coughing all over each other and stuff, it's just like, it seems inappropriate almost, So, we offer a great alternative to that.
Yeah, you got a good point there. I would, and so when you talk to these doctors and dentists and other medical professions, do you try to steer them away from that? Because I would imagine you probably get some pushback.
Yeah, I mean, in most cases, I haven't personally gone into a situation where we were replacing that service. So the ones that I've had meetings with personally are people that just use regular standard cable or satellite TV or nothing. They have like a slideshow going within their practice. My sales team has certainly seen a couple of the other ones as well. It's not, I think it's a tougher sell for the doctors because I think the doctors have a great pride in their industry. And I feel like it's almost like when you think about when you have a lawyer, how much money you spend per hour just talking to them and that every minute is worth something. I feel like that may apply in the kind of the medical field the same way where the doctor might be thinking, here, I'm imparting all of this knowledge for free while you sit in my waiting room. You're learning about all these things that, would cost you money to come in and visit with me and talk about, so they might feel that way from what I understand. But if you talk to the people, it's kind of not welcomed knowledge.
I could definitely understand that.
So, so we and look, I mean, if you want that, you could totally do that on that end. And we have some medical, kinds of content too sprinkled in. It's a lot gentler than do you have the flu or any of that kind of stuff. But, we focus on healthy eating and fitness and all those kinds of things, which I think are more universally accepted anyway. With people, everyone's always kind of interested in hearing what that would be, even if they're not going to go do it. It's like, all right, okay, if I decided to go, on a diet, I could eat that. All right, I understand what you're saying, or this person's doing some really great fitness techniques that you could do at home without any equipment, to do a simple workout. Okay, well, I could see that. When I get home, I could try that, So we always try to have something that you can take away something with, that you get a key takeaway in watching it. You learn something or you're just, entertained while you're there. So
that's awesome. So what has been your biggest success to date?
Yeah, I don't know. Like it's hard because I feel like each one of them is a great success in one way or another. Even some of our smallest clients, they, in terms of size or scope, in terms of the people that come into the businesses, I feel like some of them use it, the best. Like they really grasp the concept of creating their own network and really getting that involvement or encouraging social involvement through it too. Some people use it to promote a hashtag or promote their email mailing list is one that we've seen that's really good too, that you don't think about all those pieces, but when you've got someone's attention and they're watching your TV, if you can quickly get them to realize, hey, I'll give you a $50 gift card. I'll put you in the running rather for a $50 gift card if you sign up for my email list this month.
That's an expensive email list.
Yeah, exactly. $50 an email. Oh my God, yeah. But so those kinds of things I see as really well. So it's tough. It's like I see some of our clients is using it really, really well and actively, and that excites me a lot. And then some of our clients are just larger, and we know more people are seeing it in those venues. And so that's exciting for us too, in having that aspect. So.
Hey, Eugene's back.
See the result of the... This could be a Blab first, though. I don't know if they've had any car accidents on Blab before.
I don't know. That's a good... We'll have to... It looks like he's having some issues. I don't know if he's in the office. His office and house are not that far apart.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Oh, he's still in the car.
Back on the road.
Yeah, back in the road. Everything's good. Got insurance information. We're good to go now.
So you're the proud owner of a furniture company now, or?
Depends. I have to call Bob Gould first to see.
Yeah. That's your first phone call when you get in the office, right?
Yep.
Hey, Bob, I got a case for you.
I think my back is starting to hurt. So is my leg and my neck.
You look a little stiff there. You all right?
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah, I was gonna say this video could be bad earlier when you were saying no, we're fine, everything's fine. It's like they'll use that in the court of law. There was a blab going on. We have live video of him saying he's fine.
Well, sometimes injuries pop up.
Oh, I know. Yeah, it comes out after time.
They do say that whiplash is like 24 hours.
Yeah, you don't get it right away. No, that's true.
Yeah, haven't experienced it. Can't tell you. So your biggest success, you'd say, was really just across the board. What about the Apple TV? So Eugene, get you caught up. Their app is going to be on the new Apple TV, which launches today. So now if a business purchases the new Apple TV to theoretically stream content in their business, it's relevant, could be one of those content providers.
Absolutely. Yeah, most of the stuff on Apple TV is only licensed for personal use. So like if you get Netflix or something like that, you couldn't show that in your business anyway. You don't have a license to do that. With us, everything is specifically licensed for public display in commercial institutions. So we're going to be one of the very few apps that's really aimed at something you can use in your business using that device. So it's exciting. It's definitely exciting.
Yeah, I mean, just to have your name alongside Apple is pretty. I mean, I would have aimed for Google myself, but
Go for Apple. Don't listen to Scott.
Yeah. Well, I definitely enjoy being first out the gate with a lot of these things. About 10 years ago, I created one of the very, very, very first iPhone apps that was ever featured on Apple.com. This is when they only had Web 2.0 applications. They didn't have a native store yet. Steve Jobs said that there's no need to have a store where, the future of this is creating just HTML and Web 2.0 that can be used and sized for different devices. And, and it's funny how now 10 years later, we see that trend coming back now with responsive websites. We see that's more and more people are like, I don't really want to have to download the app. I'd rather just go to the website and get a website version for my phone. But I was one of the very first. We had created an app for a television program I was running, and it was, I got a call from Apple. I thought it was a crank call from a friend of mine. Because I was like, why would Apple actually be calling me, And then I thought they were mad at me or something. And they're like, no, we want you to sign a non-disclosure agreement and then we'll help you out, and we have some great ideas for you. And then about a month or so later, we found ourselves featured on the main page of their website. And it was pretty exciting. So I love the fact that, we're going to be one of the ones, today, first out the gate with Apple TV as well. It's one of those things that's it's great. It's great to be a part of that.
Yeah, that's pretty big. I would think that's pretty huge for you guys just to have your name associated with them. You
guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Your app. Somebody downloads your app.
Yeah.
Will they have access to the full array of your content, or do they have to subscribe to certain?
Yeah, so the application becomes a window into the subscription, so it's a display mechanism. So they still have to subscribe on the website, and the website is where they control all of their preferences for. We have over 40 categories of content for them to choose from. So they pick the categories they want. They set up their social media accounts. Like they just let us know the handles. We don't even need their password or anything. And then we automatically pull all of that stuff in. They choose how often they want things to show up. And then, a minute later, their Apple TV is running a full branded television network, pulling in all this licensed content and everything to their preferences. And they can run it 24/7. It's pretty cool.
That's cool.
You're right about the responsive websites, though. There was, for a little while, people were saying, oh, you have to have an app. You have to have an app for your business. But that's really not the case. I don't have an app. I don't think Eugene does. I know you do, but...
Yeah, we just discontinued our app this week, actually. So it's no longer available in the store. Yeah, we took it out. And it's one of those things that it works if you need some sort of native functionality that the phone can do that the web can't. But we're seeing, the convergence of all this stuff that the web can do so many of these things now anyway with the programming that, it's blurring the line. So long and short of that is I think Steve Jobs was right. Way into the future, as opposed to what seemed like he was talking about the immediate when he was really focused initially on the first iPhone of we don't need apps. This is Web 2.0 is going to be it. Maybe it's Web 3.0.
Maybe it's HTML5.
Yeah. Now it's exciting what you can do there now, and I was one of YouTube's first content partners, back 10 years ago as well, and seeing that the progression there of what they're doing and how the quality of their video is so far beyond. And now they've got even, they have 3D, and they've got the 360 video now.
Yes.
That I was sampling the other day, and it's just like, it's amazing how much support they have. Yes. Google Cardboard. Yes. I don't have mine here. I have one of them at home. But no, it's great. It's in it, and it's a whole nother world. They're taking advantage of the technology, and having the gyroscope in your phone and all that, and it's giving you these new experiences that they're just awesome. It's just awesome.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff, that really cool stuff coming. It's going to be fun. I showed my son as soon as I got that. I showed it to him, and he was like, "Oh, this is great!" He's diving off a cliff and swimming with sharks, and their plan is to use it in schools. So there's already some schools using it. So it's pretty cool. Now they can go to the Great Wall of China without having to leave Connecticut.
Yeah.
So it is awesome stuff. But so that's your biggest successes. What about your biggest challenge?
I think the biggest challenge is kind of what I was talking a little bit about earlier is marketing to that small subset of people that own a business, have a public location, and have a television in it, and getting to those people and educating them. What we have is unlike anything else you've seen. There are a lot of digital signage solutions out there. There are other things that claim to be kind of custom networks, and there are things that just play your own videos on loop, every 15, 20 minutes. We've taken a completely different look at this and in the development, and our algorithm is very, very different than anything you've seen. You can sit and watch any one of our TV locations, and you won't see a video repeat in 2 hours. You can sit there for 2 hours and not see something repeat. So it's a completely different animal, but educating people has always been the tough part, because it's hard to say what it is without having to explain it more, because it's not exactly like anything else. You do the traditional this meets, where the traditional television meets digital signage meets, kind of a algorithm based, Pandora kind of pulling together different things that you would like, and that kind of illustrates it. But people really need to see it, to understand it.
So, Eugene, you have something, or?
Oh, I don't know already when I was gone, but what type of content is on there right now? I know even briefly, I think we might have talked about it, but
yeah,
I was getting rear-ended in my car.
Yeah, let's make sure we clarify that.
Yeah.
Yeah. As soon as I said that, I had to clarify them.
Yeah. There's yeah, exactly. There is a whole bunch of different stuff. It's over 40 categories now. So everything from national news, we have daily national news that we have some partners for, and we also produce in-house. And to celebrity red carpet interviews, we have partners in both New York and Los Angeles. On the red carpet, about 5 days a week. I was unaware that there were so many red carpets going on, but there are. And so we have someone there doing that. We have a partner in the political realm who's based in New Hampshire, and who's just covering all of the candidates as they come in, really heavy promoting for the New Hampshire primary. So all of them visit, and he goes out and does some really brilliant things, talking with them. One of the ones that sticks out in my mind, Lindsey Graham, who was running the Republican side, went out and visited one of the local dumps in New Hampshire. and so our partner was out there recording this. He was one of the only media out there. But he's, shaking hands, saying hello to people. And one of the guys comes up to him and he goes, you know how I knew you were a politician? He's like, how? And he's like, because you wore a white shirt to the dump. It's just like guys out there. But it's just great footage and interesting, tidbits into the world of it. The other thing about our content is it's short. It's all short form. It's 4 minutes or less. The average content's about 2.5 minutes. So even if you don't like it as a consumer sitting in one of these locations, it's over fast enough and you're moving on to something different. Whereas if you're sitting in front of Dr. Phil or Judge Judy, those are the two I use a lot just because I'm not a big fan of either of them. So, and we see them everywhere. So Judge Judy is actually a really great one because she's just a polarizing force. You don't meet people that are like okay with her. You meet people that think she's ridiculous or that love her and like they agree with her all the time. So having something like that on for an hour and people having to be stuck with it while in a waiting room, you're waiting for your car to get fixed for 45 minutes or an hour, and you had to sit through that with no chance of changing it. Your time goes by a lot slower than if you had some rapid fire, 2.5-minute videos in different categories that we pull together for them. So we've got tons and tons of categories: cooking shows, like I mentioned, the political stuff. We have fitness things. We have health things. We have short films. We have documentary films that are on there. We've got some comedy stuff. There's just a ton. We have travel. We have movie reviews. It's enormous, and it grows every day, and we're signing on new partners every week. So it continues to grow, and and we do listen to our customers in terms of what they want, and we certainly go out and we license things that really match what they're looking for. So it's exciting.
Yeah. That's some good stuff. I'm looking. I would love to. I have not had the privilege of seeing one of the TVs yet,
Yeah.
but there is Eugene. I don't know if you caught it. There is a B&I hockey event next Wednesday in Bridgeport.
Is that the 11 a.m.? 11 a.m. They have. Is that?
No, it's at night, just so I can't go because of my kids. But I think it's Wednesday. Yeah, it's Wednesday because the kids are off the 11th. It's the day they're off. So I was kind of hoping it was the day before.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So there's a hockey game, unless I'm wrong. But
I was going to say, I think because we have season tickets there, and I think that was the 11 a.m. game.
Well, if it
I
is,
remember
that would be awesome. I could go from B&I to the hockey game. That would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's a bunch of B&Is getting together, so we'll be able to see your product.
Yeah, that would be great. It'd be great.
If it's at 11 a.m., I'm going. Why do you do what you do, Jonathan? Tell us why is this a passion for you?
Well, I mean, I've always been passionate about content. I've always been passionate about technology. So this is kind of the intersection between the two. I feel like businesses are underserved in this category. I mean, there really aren't products that are designed in this kind of fashion to really serve them in this way. I also think that business owners, as we talked about earlier, are really reluctant to go too deep or in understanding of marketing and social media. They know they need to, but yet they're really confused by it constantly anyway. So anything that we can do to help, and make things simple and not a whole lot of effort involved, like if we can just keep it kind of effortless. I think that's important. I look at a lot of what's happened with business TVs in some other products, and it reminds me a lot of MySpace. When I think about when MySpace was around and when Facebook came out and when the two coexisted for a while, MySpace was a place that you had much more control over the design and the look of your page. And then Facebook, you had the control over the content and what you wanted to put up, but it was within a structure. And MySpace, just bottom line was a lot of people made it look ugly. It's like you had too much control over there was no structure. It was like you could change your background, you could put on all these little things, and then all of a sudden you couldn't read anything. So I feel like we give that structure, kind of like in the kind of the Facebook model there, we give that structure of something that's neat and orderly and looks good, but then we let you bring in all of your customization on top of that, so that you get quality programming, you get a really nice layout, everything's crisp, but you can still get your messaging across in a way that looks professional. I guess that's the other piece. I think a lot of businesses strive to be professional and look professional, but without a great graphic designer or without a great marketing person, they have a lot of trouble doing that. They might have a great product, might be a great restaurant. You love eating there. But they have the worst logo in the world. Their menus are just horrible, horribly hard to read, whatever it might be, So I think whatever we can do to help those people, I like helping people, and whatever we can do to help people on those levels and make it easier for them, that's what I get excited about each day. And when we light up any one of these networks, we had two that just came on yesterday, And when people see it, we had this one restaurant that came on, and he sees it, and he's like, oh my God, this is my logo, and this is it. And he goes, I love this program, and he just gets excited about it. And when he gets excited, I get excited. So it's just great. It's being able to do that and give people a mechanism, and help them out. It's really huge. It's really huge.
Yeah, I think it was all in your last statement there. Give and help.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got a question here from Colleen. What was the story about the family eating while murders gore played on the screen in the restaurant pre-It's Relevant? So this this was not an It's Relevant TV, but apparently a family was watching murder and gore while eating.
Well, there's a few. I can give you a few anecdotes actually. So we have one doctor's office that was telling us that they ran through kind of 2 iterations. They're an office in Bridgeport, Connecticut, which is a higher crime rate than the surrounding areas in Connecticut here, and the news media lives there to just report on every shooting and stabbing and anything the least bit horrible, a car accident, whatever it might be. They will be there if it's in Bridgeport, and they will report on it. That seems to be what they care about. So this doctor's office that's in Bridgeport was saying that they had such a hard time showing the local news because they'd see either people that were sitting in the waiting room would see a friend of theirs on television and say, well, that's just not true. That person didn't do that or whatever. Or it really made the whole environment of that city, which is just really, they're doing a lot of great things in that city right now, but it feels like there's so much crime and that you'd be afraid to walk in there because of the news media. So they're like, we can't show this anymore. So the improvement was, and this is the amazing thing, they decided that the improvement over the news was to put Jerry Springer on.
Oh, God.
And when Jerry Springer is the improvement on that kind of programming, and I have no problem with Jerry. We did an interview with him here, and he's a great guy. He's very smart, but he'll tell you the same thing about the programming. It's like it serves a purpose. It's just weird that a medical office would think that was an improvement. So we've gone in there since, and we've been a great improvement over that as well. But there have been a few cases where, I've witnessed and what Colleen is talking about, where I've gone in and I've witnessed that the screens just have something inappropriate on because while they can control the channel, they're not sitting there watching the channel all day. So one case, I was in a restaurant in which, and I took photos of this because it was kind of, actually I can show you the photo. I won't mention the name of the restaurant just for saving face for them, but it's a family restaurant, and all these people are sitting around eating. There's this nice little family, having their meal. As you can see right here, they're having their meal, and this is midday on a Sunday, so you're not thinking anything bad is going to be on the screen, but then you look up and they have Operation Smile, an infomercial that's going on for 30 minutes. And now Operation Smile is a great cause. I have nothing against Operation Smile, but it's not, I just don't feel like it's appropriate to have videos of kids having surgery while you're eating lunch. That's just not, and if the business knew that was going on at the time, they would have definitely put a stop to it, but they didn't. And I brought it to someone's attention there, and they're like, oh, we're not allowed to change the channel. I'm like, this is what's going on your TV right now. So it's giving them that control that we find is really important. We don't have any of that kind of stuff in any of our programming, so there's no risk. You never have to worry about something that coming up, that would be inappropriate or, age-related. We don't have anything that's no curse words. We stick to the FCC, and then we go further with a lot of the stuff in terms of what we do. We just want to make sure it's family-friendly all the time. But yeah, you have no idea what some of the stuff. And then you go into a car dealership, and this is one of the favorite things I always see is you go into a car dealership, and it seems like half the programming is ads for other car dealerships. You turn on any channel, the people that advertise most on TV are car dealerships anyway. So, you could be sitting in the Honda dealership, and then Kia and Hyundai and the next one all come up while you're sitting there getting your Honda fixed, and you were like, oh, why am I even bothering getting this car fixed? I could get a brand new car for a lot cheaper. It's just unbelievable. So it's taking control of all of that, and that's what we help people do. So
awesome. So, Colleen, you got your question answered. You got your humor for the day. We got a little, we call it a fire round, Jonathan. So
sure.
We're gonna fire off a few questions. I hope Colleen didn't give these to you ahead of time.
Nope.
Your favorite business book?
Oh my God. I haven't read one recently. I remember Jeff Jarvis's "What Would Google Do" was maybe the most recent one. I read some magazines sometimes, Entrepreneur, stuff like that, but nothing, page to page, cover to cover rather. Lately.
What about your favorite quote?
There's a lot. I always, when I was younger, I had two, and I still, kind of go that knowledge is power. I always liked, but there was a quote. I forget who said it. It was, you can't wait for your ship to come in if you've never set any out to sea. I always like, so if you're not making that effort yourself, if you're not putting in any effort, how do you expect to get anything back in return? You kind of always have to put yourself out there.
Okay. Eugene, you jumped around on me. Favorite activity outside of business?
I do magic. I'm a magician on the side, so I coach at the Society of Young Magicians. I direct the Stanford Assembly, which is there's two in Connecticut, but we're the largest one in Connecticut. We actually were the largest one in the nation for a little while. We had 56 students at one point shortly after I took over, and we're at around 12 or 16 now. It's a good-sized group, but kids 7, 17 learning magic. It's fun.
Awesome. What about one piece of advice you wish you knew before you started your business?
Well, there's a lot of pieces of advice. I think it's always important to do your research. And it's funny, a lot of people come to me for advice on other things, and I got a fortune cookie the other night that said that I should take my own advice sometimes, that the advice you give is the advice you should take. And I think it was how it was worded. And I thought it was really interesting because in a lot of kind of consulting kind of relationships, you find yourself imparting knowledge on someone, but then you don't put the mirror on yourself. Like I'll tell another business, yeah, you should do this. And it's just like, it's obvious to me that this is what you should do. And then if I sit back for a minute, I go, wait a minute, I should be doing that too. What the heck am I doing? So sometimes taking your own advice is some of the best advice you can do, because when you're thinking and you're giving someone else the advice, you're out of the equation for a minute. You're just looking at it with a bird's eye view, and sometimes taking that bird's eye view for yourself can really, really make a difference.
Yeah, Colleen says that every single member of Small Business USA says the exact same thing. I know I'm guilty of it too. I tell people all the time, video market, and I wasn't doing it for the longest.
Yeah, I'm glad you're doing it now.
I know, right? Now we're getting some people in. Somebody else's show must have just ended. Hey, this truth in advertising, right? We'll call it that. Truth in advertising. All right. So, Jonathan, how do people find you?
You can find me online. It's relevant.com, itsrelevant.com. You can find me online on the web. Certainly you can get me on LinkedIn. I'm IR Jonathan K. Because my last name, Krackehl, is so hard to spell that, I mean, if I put that in a username, it would just be, no one would ever find me. But yeah, the website and LinkedIn are great. And Twitter rather are great. I'm on LinkedIn as well. You can search for me there. You would need my last name for it, but it's spelled here. So
write it down, because I'm going to tell you, as many times as I've written it down in the last week, I still don't have it.
It's tough. It's a tough one.
Yeah, it's not spelled the way it should be spelled. There you go.
Does it show up backwards, or does it show up forwards on yours?
No, it shows up forwards. Everything is mirrored on when you show
Gotcha.
it. Yeah. I put it in the chat, so it's itsrelevant.com.
Yep.
So if you know of any business that has a waiting room or a restaurant or anything like that, have them reach out to It's Relevant, Jonathan, or his sales team to install a TV where the content is customized to what they think their audience would like to watch, because who wants to watch gore or flu season or any of that? I know. And by the way, you mentioned something earlier about you don't see the same thing within a 2-hour window. It's going to be a different conversation if I'm still in the waiting room for 2 hours. So I'm not
yeah, that's true.
I do want to mention before we go, so next week we have Teresa DeGray, Attorney DeGray. She'll be on 10 a.m. next Friday Eastern. We're going to talk about marketing of attorneys, how she markets her business. But also Eugene and I are on a team for Movember, which starts technically Sunday. So that website is moteam.co/beard-gang-ct. And I'll put it in the chat. The intent of Movember is we're growing beards. It's only supposed to be the mustache, but our team is doing beards. But the intent is to raise awareness for prostate cancer, testicular cancer, and mental health. So, join the team, donate, whatever you want to do to help out. So think of, October's breast cancer awareness. This is the men's version of breast cancer awareness. And Jonathan, any parting notes?
No, just thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
No problem. I will have this up probably later today. I'll send it over to you as soon as I get it. And it was great talking to you, Eugene.
Yeah.
Good luck with the car, Eugene. It was nice meeting you virtually.
You too.
Take it easy with your back today, no heavy lifting.
Yeah. I think this might be my favorite blab.
Wow.
You can't duplicate stuff like this. You really can't.
Once again, we're Growth Success Radio.
Yeah.
It's not the same when you try to fake it, though.
Well, you got to crash a bus next time, though, Eugene.
I might have to watch the blab just to see my reaction when we got hit. I'm curious.
You were actually pretty calm. You're like, well, we just had a car accident.
Well, probably because I'm in the middle of a live webcast and I just got hit in a car accident. It's like, how do you react?
I would have opened the door and rolled out. And
I'm just glad you weren't driving because that was going to be bad.
That's true. That's true.
So this is this would be a good commercial for safe driving. We'll send it to DMV.
You should. They're working on that. Yeah.
So this has been no problem. This has been Growth Success Radio, growthsuccessradio.com. We're on almost every Friday at 10 a.m. Occasionally we have to change the time slot, and there will be a few Fridays we're off. Black Friday, Christmas is on Friday this year, and I don't think we made a decision on New Year's Day yet, but we'll let you know. So I'm gonna